Tito Francona is joining us now. Great to see you, Skip.
Guys, how you doing?
We're doing
Good.
well.
I heard something good about you in golf.
Yeah.
About a pro-am?
Somebody's lying.
About a pro-am or something?
No, I actually stunk.
Get out.
No, I stunk it up.
I heard you broke 90 all 4 days.
No, I broke 90. The first day was a practice day. I was 1 under after 14. Then when it counted, the wind picked up and I got old. And it was hard. You have to walk. You can't drive.
Right.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I felt like I played football.
Oh.
And it was hard.
One
So you
under
play
after
four
14
rounds,
is unbelievable.
Yeah.
and you're walking the whole.
Yeah, you play with the LPGA, which is really fun.
Yeah.
Except when they're like 40 yards ahead of you. And you play with another either football player or baseball player. So like played with Brian Urlacher, Marcus Allen. It's really fun. But after 4 days of walking, I've had it.
That's
Who was your LPGA partner?
Inji Chun, who's a 24-year-old little Korean girl, and I mean,
She was hitting it past
wanted to adopt her. You know, like just, I mean, it was really, they make it fun because, you know, they're out there playing for a lot of money.
Yeah.
But they allow us to kind of have fun, and it's a good time.
I figured we'd start with golf and Arizona Wildcats basketball.
Yeah,
right?
no,
Those
you're
are
in
the
good
two
shape.
things you're- I mean, you
the
guys-
Wildcat basketball team, they're finding a way to lose lately, but
They'll be around in March.
Yes, they will. And they're
Yeah.
going to have 3 first-round picks.
That's right.
They're young. They're young, but they're really talented.
All right, let's talk a little baseball.
All
We're
right,
11
all
days
right.
away from pitchers and catchers reporting to Goodyear, Arizona. Is it amazing how quick it's gone? I mean, the calendar flipped, and we're here, Tito.
You know what? Once you get to Christmas, it's so fast. Like it just, you know, like your internal clock too. It, you know, there's. Like I went to a golf tournament, then I come here, and I'm going to go up to Goodyear on Tuesday.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to fly home tomorrow. I'm going to pack up my house. I'm going to throw like 3 pair of jeans in a bag and go to Goodyear. And here we go again.
Is Millsy coming over to help you pack?
Oh, Millsy tries to stay away from me as long as he can because he knows once we're together 24/7, and he's about had it by the time we're done.
Well, this is your 8th season with the Indians, which
Goes fast.
Matches the 8 that you had in Boston.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable that it's gone by this quickly.
It is. It's amazing how fast it goes.
I assume you still love it and want to do it, or you wouldn't be.
No, I
here.
do. You know what? The way I explain it is when the year's over, it's harder for me to re-energize. Doesn't mean I love the game any less, but it's harder physically. And there's no getting around that. But I still love the game every bit as much as I ever have, and I feel as competitive as I ever have. I mean, I remember when I first came here 8 years ago, I said I didn't come here to go to pasture.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we want to win.
I remember that.
And that's how I feel. Sometimes it's a different atmosphere or different circumstances, but the desire to win is no less.
You know, when I first met Terry, Bart Swain introduced me and said he's from Philadelphia originally, and your response was, "Don't hold that against me," because the seasons you had as a Phillies manager, but you haven't had a losing season now in Major League Baseball as a manager since that 2000 season in Philadelphia.
Wow.
And obviously, this stop has provided some challenges with a different kind of payroll than you had in Boston.
Right. They're different. You're right. They're different neighborhoods, but we do it different ways. It's easy to talk about the challenges or maybe the lack of things maybe you don't have. What I prefer to look at is what we do have, and that's the people, and that's why I'm here. If it wasn't for the people, I wouldn't have come here in the first place, and I don't think I'd still be here. But I love doing what we do together. I really do. I mean, we have our moments. Shoot, I was just laughing with Cherney. Me and Cherney have had some knockdown dragouts. But when we leave the room, I might be mad at him, but somebody else better not say something about him. Mm-hmm. I mean, we're like brothers, and we care about each other, and I know they care about me. And it makes me want to stay here, and it makes me want to win here.
Give him the stat on the outfielders that he's used.
I was talking about,
this is great.
You and other
This isn't going to make me feel good, is it?
you and other managers have, deservedly gotten credit for the way you handle bullpens. But my point was that I think in 2017 you guys had 15 outfielders start games for you. The last couple of years it's been 11 each.
Yeah.
That's taken some juggling in it on its own, not just by the manager but also the organization.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I used to tell when people would ask me about Brantley, I'd say wind him up and send him out. And that's kind of what I meant. You didn't platoon him. You just let him play, give him a day off when he needs it. For different reasons, we've had guys at different points in their careers. And then we've had injuries to boot.
Right.
Like right when Naquin seems to be catching his stride, he gets hurt. So there's been things, Lonnie Chisenhall kept getting hurt. With the emergence of Oscar Mercado, that's exciting. This is a kid that we think is going to get better as he plays, which is really good. With Franmil, how much do we play him in the outfield? That's something that we're going to have to find out in spring training, because dependent on where he plays, then that maybe gives us another slot for a DH bat. But those are things we have to answer. Can Jordan Luplow, can he take more of a load than just playing against lefties? My instincts tell me yeah. But again, some of that's going to be on how they play.
When you look at your bullpen situation now with these new rules that are coming in, I know you're not crazy about the three batter.
That's to put it lightly.
Yeah. That's the clean version here.
Yeah. That's.
Will that, do you think, dictate who you could take and all that stuff, if you have just like a lefty specialist or something?
Already right now we have Oliver Perez and Adam Simber, who are basically, that's what they kind of came up as our specialists.
Yeah. You had Perez face a few righties, but
Yeah, right. But now they're going to have to. And it's going to be something that we're going to have to work on in spring training, because when the season starts, nobody's going to care if it aggravates me if we're losing games.
No.
But I'm not a fan of it. I think for so many reasons, I don't think it's good for the game. I don't even think it's good for the players, for their health, for development of young pitchers. But this is the way the rule is, so we're going to have to adapt to it, and we're going to have to do it in a hurry.
What do you think about the three-batter minimum?
I don't like it. I don't like it either.
We've preached to our guys for years now that, hey, the group, as a group, we are better. What is the sum of our parts?
That's right.
And now you can't even do that. I don't think it was a fluke that we were at the top of the league in not allowing inherited runners, because guys complimented each other, and we were allowed to do it however we wanted to, and guys accepted it. And now you've taken that away. I
know you're able to disconnect a little in the offseason, but you're paying attention to what other clubs are doing. The Minnesota Twins have added, and so have the Chicago White Sox. Just what do you make of what the Central Division could look like?
Josh Donaldson signed. We were down in Orlando in that golf tournament. So the day he signed, he's coming down 14, and I'm going up 9, and I'm screaming at him across the fairway. You should. Some of these LPGA, they're like, I think I broke golf etiquette. The White Sox have obviously had a loud offseason. They've signed some really good veteran guys. I will say this. I've been on that side of where teams have won the offseason and then been looking for a job the next year. So the games played on the field. I do think our division is getting better. I don't think there's any getting around that. I feel like, and I felt like this since I got here, when we play, if we don't play right, we generally give ourselves a pretty good chance to lose. And regardless of who we're playing, if we play well, we usually have a pretty good chance to win. And I think that's okay.
Well, you're going to get by on, I think, a lower payroll than you had last year. Is there still room to add somebody going into spring training, or do you think this is pretty much what you're –
I don't know if this is the final version or not. I know Chris and Cherney always are kind of on the lookout. 5 days ago I was actually talking to a player that I'm not going to say who it is, but –
Give us a scoop, Tito.
Yeah, with the idea that maybe we could sign him.
Okay.
Now, it didn't work, but we were trying. So I don't think you ever shut the door. But saying that, if this is our team, excuse me, I would rather spend my energy trying to figure out how we're going to be a good team than be sitting here saying we need him and him and him. Yeah. I think that sends a horrible message, and I don't ever want to do that.
You guys found out really early last season about your depth in pitching with Kluber injury, Clevenger having the strained muscle. Kluber, Bauer aren't here. How do you look at this group now going in?
It's so funny. I see myself saying the same exact things about Shane Bieber that I was about Kluber 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's a very big compliment to Shane Bieber, because you take nothing away from Kluber just because he's traded. This is a guy that was a guy for us that could go up against the other team's best pitcher, and we felt like we had a chance to win. That's hard to do. Bieber, Clevenger, Carrasco, they allow guys like me and Chris to sleep better at night. And then you start adding in Savali, Plezak, Jeffrey. We got guys, young kids that came up, and we asked something of them that was probably a little unfair, and they reacted like veterans. They competed, they never backed down, and made it really fun, actually.
I remember we were sitting in that room at spring training talking to you during the media availability. It was like one morning. I think this was before Kluber had won his Cy Youngs, and you said to us, this guy's got a chance to be one of the best pitchers in the American League. So you see those similarities with Bieber?
Yes, I really do. I really do. The work ethic, the demeanor, the want to be the best, the pitches that that allow him. I feel the same about Clevenger. Clev just has to stay. If Clev stays healthy last year, he's in the Cy Young mix. I mean, the way he pitched. I mean, so it gets exciting because they're not content to be okay. They want to be great, and they push each other, and it's a good thing.
And knowing what Carrasco went through last year, how do you look at him coming into a new season?
Well,
and
again,
how you might use
being
him?
Respectful of him, we will always check with him to make sure he's okay. But I think he views himself as a starter, and I know we do. So as long as he's okay physically, he will be a starter, and that's where he belongs, that's where he deserves, and that's where we're better.
You know what's real. A lot of us sometimes do not. So anyone that talks about Lindor and rumors and all of this stuff, how have you been able to kind of calm yourself and say, well, listen, a lot of this isn't true, and we feel he's going to be here?
Because I'm privy to not only what's being said, but what's not being said. So I just knew what I was reading wasn't matching up.
Okay.
So I really didn't lose a lot of sleep on it. The one thing I guess I felt was for Frankie, because I know he was reading it every day, or it's out there.
You see it, yeah.
And I felt bad for him because I don't think he should have to go through a winter like that. A player of his magnitude, and especially the way he carries himself. And I know Chris and I have talked, and Chris is going to sit down and talk to him, and I will too at some point, because I don't want him to be thinking about stuff like that.
Well, we're getting a signal you got to go.
Tito.
All right, guys, enjoyed it.
Yep, hit him straight in Arizona.
That's impossible.
Good seeing you
Terry
again, Terry.
Francona, drive skipper. Great to see him. We'll see him out at spring training, and nice enough to join us here on WKYC.com.
Yeah,
and,
he's been very public about the not liking the minimum 3 batters.
Yeah,
and I get it. I mean,
are we just being old school, or do you think?
What is the advantage to it?
Oh, they want to create more offense, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Or do they want a speed game, one less pitching change? I'm not sure I even understand
I don't think that even saves all
the
that
impetus
much
behind it. But to me, that wouldn't save a whole lot.
It's just you put a team in a tough spot, right? I mean,
yeah.
If Oliver Perez, listen, he's a tremendous pitcher, but if he's going to be one and face 3 right-handers in a row.
Yeah, and one of the things that he mentions about the development of pitchers, this organization's done a really good job of developing pitchers. All right.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing. Some of it's just like with hitters. Some people say, well, why don't they use Luplo against lefties more or whatever, right? Or righties. Sometimes a guy looks better because of the way you're using him, because you're limiting his exposure to situations that he might not excel in, right?
Yeah.
So the same thing happens with pitchers and relief pitchers. You don't want a guy who right now in this point in his career is probably best served being a matchup guy, suddenly having to face, 2 other hitters that he might not normally have to face.
Yeah.
And then he gets bombed, and then you're dealing with the aftermath of that, So I understand what he's saying about that, and I'm sure he's not the only manager that feels that way.